Joined by Sharon Sexton, who's been one of the many people who have taken on a leadership role with the golf program this semester. Sharon, what have you seen with the resilience of this group? Obviously tough to lose a head coach at the beginning of the spring season, but it seems like they've come out of it with a pretty strong result as the spring has gone along.
I mean, you hit it right there. With this group is incredibly resilient. I think when the bomb, if you will, was dropped on them that their head coach was leaving right, I think it was 2 weeks before their first competition. I mean, that's a lot to take. In the transition that's happened, over the last several years and number of coaches that we've had, it's tough for someone like Eli. They were very open and willing to work with us to support them through this spring season. I think that they've done a good job, and our department's done a really good job with stepping up, setting up a pretty clear and concise practice schedule and tournament schedule, and really working together. But the group has been incredible to work with. I mean, I've felt pretty fortunate to get to know this group.
They've been pretty great off the links and have been showing improvements on the links as well. Quite a few personal bests, some really big improvement, especially in the last tournament on day 2. Where do you think that's coming from? Because obviously it's a little bit more difficult when you don't have the same coach out there day in and day out, or someone who maybe had the same experience as some of the previous coaches.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's the repetition that they're getting. They have a very consistent practice schedule, so they know when they're going to the range to, hit buckets of balls, practice short game. They know when they're going out to play a practice round, and the consistency of practice is allowing them to get better. There isn't necessarily a swing coach out working with them on adjusting, but a lot of times in adjusting, you're taking 3 steps back before you're taking 2 steps forward. So they're able to even look at each other and help out a little bit on the range that way too. And I think it's kind of been a cool opportunity for them to be around other coaches in our department. Coaching's coaching, and supporting a team is something that they definitely have gotten to experience, I think, this spring.
They head to the OGA this weekend, of course, that you're familiar with. Kind of what's the expectation after a really difficult weather weekend up in Idaho in the NWC Spring Classic? What can they expect, and what's kind of the hope for this group this weekend?
Well, they've had a lot of experience playing in bad weather this spring. It's been pretty brutal. We're hoping they'll get in an 18-hole practice round on Friday. Hopefully Saturday is fairly decent. Sunday looks a little rough, but again, this comes back to the student and the student athletes that they are. They're very resilient. They plug through. Kind of one stroke at a time on that. But seeing the improvement that they've made over this, I think that there are high hopes going in. I think there's some chances to pick off some teams. I think that would be a bar that we want to see, if they can compete with other teams. It's the Northwest Conference, especially on the men's side, is really competitive. The women's side is, at the top, very, very strong, and we've only got 2 women playing on the team, so we're not going to put in a team score. But again, looking to see if they improve upon the Spring Classic and at a course that plays and has the ability to score pretty well.